For the past few seasons of Fortnite, a select few pros have been dominating the competitive leaderboards. These players include Clix, Booga, Mongrel, Benji Fishy, and a few others. However, recently a few other pros who were previously under the radar have been blowing up like crazy since the beginning of Chapter 2. You know, arguably the most notorious of these up-and-coming pros is none other than KHANADA. KHANADA is an absolute beast of a Fortnite player, man. His mechanics are clean and fast, his quick thinking and playmaking ability is like unmatched, and his decision-making under pressure is a force to be reckoned with. What's going on, guys? It's the Motivation Guy. That's right, your friend, the one and only Keith Allen. I hope you're talking positive over your lives, man. I hope you're not putting yourself down. I hope you're not just beating yourself to the ground. I want you to encourage yourself. Sometimes we just need to encourage ourselves to do better, not only in this game, but also in life. Connect with me as soon as you can on my Instagram. I would love to hear from you guys, posting up vids to inspire you to do great in this game and also in life. So in this video, we're going to be diving deep into the strategies and tricks KHANADA uses to absolutely dominate some of the world's best players, all right? But before we get started, if you guys are looking to get better at Fortnite, click the link below to go to ProGuides.com, where you can play with the best players in the world. Sign up for our membership at ProGuides. You're going to get a ton of incredible content from the best pro players like Benji and Mongrel. So if you want to compete in Fortnite, you got to check out ProGuides.com. Be sure to drop a like on this video. Show your support because we really do appreciate it. All right, my friends, it's time to get this going. Sit back, relax, and you better get my favorite candy. Come on now, you know I'm addicted to this. It's that bunch of crunch, and let's get this started. The first clip we're going to review is a 1v1 wager that KHANADA played in. To be a bit more specific, we're going to take a look at the techniques and decision-making skills he used to win the fight. First, we can see KHANADA takes some builds on the left side, right, to gain more ground against his opponent. This is absolutely crucial to do in 1v1 box fights, as your opponents are not going to be able to counter you if you have control of everything around them. After going into the left side and claiming it for himself, he immediately puts pressure on the opponent, who is trying to contest him for ground, and hits a nice, crispy 170 damage pump shot. Here's one aspect of KHANADA's gameplay. His sound awareness is completely unmatched. He hears the enemy tunneling the hill and immediately works his way toward the other side to put some pressure on. He continues to put on pressure until he gets the opponent's wall and edits the left side of his ramp backwards to get a nice angle to shoot from. Okay, so this edit is hugely popular because your opponent has no view of you, while you can just easily see most of their body and hit a clean shot. This wager was a bit shorter, but there's still a lot we can take from it. Okay, so first, KHANADA's right-hand peek angles are just absolutely deadly, and something that you guys need to try in your fights. I mean, alright, just look at this shot and tell me this was not amazing. Second, utilize the backwards ramp edit to get unexpected angles on your opponent that are super difficult to counter. Finally, if you know your enemy is low on health and trying to heal, go and put pressure on them guys as fast as possible so you can just clean up the kill. The next clip we're going to be analyzing is another 2v2 wager that KHANADA played in with Tfue as his teammate. Yeah, that guy, Tfue. You know, you've got to be a pretty good darn player for Tfue to want to play with you, especially for him to put his own money on the line. Oh, I said that word darn again. Just realized that. I love that word. First, the second the wager starts, KHANADA immediately jumps up and he gets as many builds down as possible. The reason this is so helpful is because, as we explained earlier, the more edits you have on your opponents, the more dominant you are in the fight. That's why at the start of every single box fight, guys, you can see pros placing a bunch of structures in the middle. One great thing KHANADA did was going down below the structure so he could grab another angle on the player Tfue was fighting. The opponent gets distracted when KHANADA hits him, allowing Tfue to score a devastating 100 pump from above. This play wasn't really meant to kill the opponent, but it was meant to get the opponent off of Tfue's back and make them use up their healing items. KHANADA and Tfue decided to avoid pushing for the time being, since they'd be pushing into the opponent's structures. Instead, they try to grab some structures and gain ground on the enemies. Okay, so here's where KHANADA and Tfue make a fatal mistake. I mean, after all, they are only human, right? They're split far away from each other, and the opponents see this as an opportunity to push in and score an elimination. If they had been just a little closer together, they could have better managed the 2v2 fight. However, KHANADA gets 2v1'd and really can't do anything about it. This death was ultimately due to poor positioning and lack of teamwork. However, you know, one great thing that the pros do is that instead of getting tilted and angry, which a lot of us do, I mean, let's be real, they focus on improving. thing. KHANADA doesn't take this mistake to heart. Instead, look at what he does, man. He takes a mental note of it, and he makes sure it doesn't happen again. Next up, we're going to review the early to mid parts from Game 1 of KHANADA's run in the Contender Solo Cash Cup. All right, so during this game, he scores 14 eliminations and a nice win, giving this guy 24 points to start with. My God. That's more than 75% of players get in 10 games, and he got in his first one. We can see at the start that KHANADA lands at Steamy Stacks for Game 1. The most likely reason he lands at Steamy is not because of the loot or materials, but because of the wind tunnels, which can send you flying nearly half a way across the map. These are great for rotations due to the lack of mobility in Chapter 2, and they're one of the few things that you can use to rotate. Utilizing these wind tunnels, he'll almost never have to worry about the storm. We can see that KHANADA has good loot coming out of Steamy and spots a player on his rotation. All right. He knows that zone is pretty close and that this area is off the map and is heavily populated. So he decides to take the engagement. Immediately, he lands above the opponent and scores a free shot. The opponent attempts to box up, and KHANADA immediately begins applying pressure so the opponent can heal or build for high ground. KHANADA holds high ground, gets the opponent's roof, and crouch peeks a few times to score an easy kill. So the great thing that KHANADA did in the first engagement is that he put pressure on his opponent's box immediately, and he took control all around so he couldn't get away. When he does this, the opponent is essentially stuck in his box, and he can't even counter KHANADA's shots. The second opponent KHANADA runs into is farming, and KHANADA is on high ground without the opponent even knowing. This is the perfect opportunity to pop a few AR shots to get the jump on him before pushing. KHANADA scores 62 damage with his AR and gets ready to push. The opponent makes the fatal mistake of boxing up. Don't do that. And with his RPG, KHANADA makes a beautiful play to grab his opponent's floor and cone, edits, and gets 95 more damage off. Now, the opponent is like crazy low, and KHANADA is ready to go in for the finish. He quickly throws a ramp on his opponent so he can't be shot back and adjusts it to where he has an easy shot. The opponent is so focused on escaping the box that he doesn't even see KHANADA above him. KHANADA just made this pretty good player look like a complete bot with his strategy of holding high ground and pressuring the box from above. KHANADA spots another opponent across the river. The zone is currently in its first phase, almost closed with 35 players left. Not a lot for a competitive lobby. KHANADA knows the odds of a third party are pretty low, so he decides to go in for the push. Using his talented Kovacs-fueled aim, he cracks the opponent's HP, bringing him below 100. The opponent goes for a 50-50 spray battle, but knowing his opponent is already super low, KHANADA decides, hey, it's worth a shot. He gets hit once, but hits multiple nice shots on his opponent. He pushes up and he secures the kill. All right, so once again, in dominant fashion, you see what he just did? My gosh. Scoring those early shots before pushing was ultimately what resulted in KHANADA winning the fight, and he immediately applies pressure so the opponent can't heal, and pushes up to finish the fight. This is the pattern that we're beginning to see in his early to mid-game fights. So right after this fight, KHANADA gets third party. However, the way he dominated the last fight on a panicking opponent resulted in him not losing any health or shield, so he's happy to take the fight. He's like, bring it on. He pushes up the hill to his right to secure high ground, like any pro would, and the opponent makes the mistake of boxing up instead of fighting. KHANADA uses the same trick with his RPG to grab edits on his opponent, and with all the edits he has, he's now on top in this fight. Holding his nice high ground position, he takes the opponent's floor and cone and scores a nice shot for 80 damage and finishes the fight nice and quickly when the opponent tries to build battle him. Alright, so now that we've seen a few of KHANADA's ragers and a few fights from a game he just played, let's think about what he did and how we can utilize his strategies to win ourselves some more fights. You guys ready for that? First, he tries to approach every fight from high ground. We saw that in 3 of the 4 fights. Next, in every single fight, he held high ground over the opponent's box and he pressured from there. Instead of just taking a side angle where he can just be easily built over, using this angle, he takes the opponent's floor and cone and he goes for a shot. If the opponent builds another box, he uses the same strategy. Also, one more thing. If he has an RPG and his opponent is in a box, he uses it in a very unique way. Instead of using it solely to apply pressure, he uses it to take the opponent's floor and cone quickly with little risk of being edited on. This is definitely something to consider doing when you're carrying an RPG. You know, overall, using all of these tips and strategies, KHANADA dominates his box fights and in-game fights like nobody else. And he's definitely one of the best players to watch out for this season. I wouldn't be surprised to see KHANADA become one of the top streamers on Twitch at this rate. All right, guys, once again, this is the Motivation Guy. That's right, your friend, the one and only Keith Allen. Love you guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Keep going, keep dreaming, keep believing. You're gonna do some amazing things. And connect with me as soon as you can on my Instagram. I would love to hear from you guys. Don't forget to use code PROGUYS in the Fortnite item shop when you make any sort of purchases. You know, it just really helps us out, and we really do appreciate it. Comment down below, guys, what you guys thought about this video and which pro you'd like to see us analyze next. You know, we aim to bring you guys the best daily Fortnite content, so do us a favor by liking this video, subscribe to the channel, and show ProGuys.com some love for bringing you this video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again later.